everybody, it's your girl GS Carr coming at you with yet another video. And this one I'm like standing up and stuff. I know this is like weird, but I'm going to show you guys something on my janky whiteboard, so I need to be standing up for this one. So for those of you who do not know, I am a writer. On the off chance you stumbled across this channel, that's what I do. Recently I've been writing my novel Heart of the Emerald Isle. It's an epic fantasy based in Ireland, and it's pretty cool. You got some leprechauns and banshees and all that other good stuff in there. And of course some love. And so, when I was writing this novel, I was like, okay, do I make this a standalone? Do I make it a trilogy? Like, what do I want to do with it, a series? And I decided on a trilogy. So then, once I decided that I wanted to write that, I was like, okay, how do I write that? You know, they sound easy in theory, but 3 books that connect, that's a lot. Like, sometimes it can be hard just writing one book, but 3, and then like they connect and have all these plot points, and you have to foreshadow and do all this other stuff, and it can be kind of hard. So I started looking into how to plot a trilogy, how to outline it so that I'm making sure that I'm consistent. There's nothing worse sometimes than, you know, plot holes based on inconsistency. It's 1820 in one book and then it's 2000 in another book, and you're like, wait, how did we get there? So I wanted to make sure that I was consistent across all the books and that my storyline carried on and I had enough material for that. So I want to share with you guys what I learned in all of my research. Okay? I realized I should have put this on the other side because I'm right-handed, but bear with me. Sorry guys, you have to see a lot of my back. So one thing about a trilogy, obviously, is that it has an overarching story for all 3 books, right? So you guys like my drawing? So there's a story that connects all 3 of these books together, right? So here's the tricky part, or here's kind of the new information that I learned. One of the things about it is how this connects, how this overarching story connects, can be different. And there are 2 different kinds. So the first one we're going to talk about is the complex arc, right? So this is where you have one story that connects each of the books, but each book has its own story, even in that overarching story, okay? So a really great example of this is the Hunger Games, right? So in book 1, Katniss has to go and compete into the games and, you know, and pretty much win victory and all that other good stuff. Then in book 2, so that's like its main story. It's her story of survival in these games. And then in book 2, you have where she has to then compete again against the other champions because Snow is like really pissed off at her for what she did, right? And then in book 3, she's you know, she was rescued by the rebels, and so it's like all about, you know, more so her being kind of like this figurehead for this revolution that's been started. So even though each book has this overarching theme of, you know, from start to finish of you know, this girl who is a part of these games and pretty much like starting a revolution, and that's like the overarching thing that connects them, each of these books still kind of has their own story to them that fits into this overarching story. Okay, so I'm gonna call that one complex arc. Switch. So that's that one. And we also have the long story, or the long arc. And what this is where we have the one overarching story, and we have the 3 books that pretty much just are a continuation of that one overarching story. So book 1 can start off where, so for example, like Lord of the Rings, they start off, Frodo, you know, gets caught on this quest and everything like that, and then it just pretty much continues on. So like literally it almost ends on a cliffhanger, and book 2 picks up where book 1 left off, and vice versa, until, you know, they go through the entire series, and then the book is finally finished. So write that down. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you. So if you're going through and you're trying to create your own trilogy, pretty much decide first and foremost what you want your main story to be. That's like point number one. So for me with Heart of the Emerald Isle, I sat down and I just decided what I wanted my main theme to be, like what is like the main end goal that I want to accomplish at the end of the book series. And then after that, I went down each book and I decided how I wanted each book to be set up. And in the end, I went with the long arc because it just flows a little bit better for me personally in the story that I'm trying to tell. But even in the long arc, you still have, for me anyway, I still have a conclusion at the end of it. So in book one, they have a goal that they're trying to reach and they get there and they have their climax. Because that's one thing about these books. Even in the long arc, even though it's a continuation of the story, you still have to have that, you know, rising action, climax, falling action, and just, whew, you know what I mean? In each book, they still need to be there. It can't just like literally just end mid-book. That would just kind of suck. So even in the long arc, I still have those, you know, those elements, but the book is going to continue and it will leave on a little bit of a cliffhanger because of course I want you to be like, what happened, so that you come back into book 2 and 3. So with that, that's all I've got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also leave a comment. Let me know any questions that you guys have. Have you ever wanted to write a trilogy? What have been some of the things that you've learned? Please share them. I'm really glad to learn from you guys as well. Also, if you haven't already done so, chapters 1, 2, and then on Friday, chapter 3 of Heart of the Emerald Isle will be up on my website and you can read them absolutely free. Also, while you're there, don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter. I will be looking for advanced readers of the entire book pretty soon. So that might be you. I can send you, you know, an email being like, hey, you want the whole book instead of having to wait chapter by chapter? And also leave a comment on the website. I love hearing from you guys. Like, that's literally why I write, so that I can hear the emotions and how I've entertained or just, you know, brought a new world to life in readers' imaginations. So please leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the book, you know, how I can improve it, or just whatever you want to tell me. So with that, thank you so much, and you guys have a good rest of your day.